Hey everyone, this is Ashley with What's Up Under That. So, I have a special guest today, you guys. It is my nephew, Corey. I'm going to give him the floor to just kind of introduce himself, let him give any information that he wants to give, and just share some things about himself with you all.
Hello, guys. My name is Cornelius, to be exact. Short nickname is C Money. I'm the age of 31. Brief description about myself. How can I put it? The leader type. I've been in my own business owner since I was probably about the age of 22, but what inspired me to do that, because I always knew that I didn't want to work for somebody else. So that's what pretty much pushed me to find my own business. Other than that, right now I'm in the making of creating my YouTube channel as well, called Motivation to Minority. Also in the making of making my book as well, which is called Motivation to Minority. And that is just a bunch of, how can I put it, skills, tips, and ideas and ways that you can stay motivated that they didn't want you to know how. Because a lot of people don't understand that motivation is not something that we just wake up with every day. It's not something that's given to us. Motivation is something that's built upon and something that you go through every day, and it's things that you have to do to actually motivate yourself every day to get through the day. Um, Other than that, I also have a daughter, a 9-year-old, who I'm very precious, who I give my all to. I'm also in a very committed relationship now. Um, Let me see if there anything else you guys would like to know about me. That's pretty much it as of now.
So, I did notice that between your YouTube channel name and your book name, they're both the same. What inspired you to want to write the book?
Honestly, the book has been in the making it for way too long now. I really supposed to been finished it a long time ago. Years ago, this title came to me so long ago, probably a little bit over. Man, I could really say probably like, I ain't even gonna really lie to myself. Probably like 5, 6 years ago, this title came to me. What inspired me to want to write the book? Because me myself personally, like well, yes, I'm a very good motivational speaker. I'm a very good talker. I'm a very guy with a lot of wisdom and intelligence. So I feel like I have a bunch of tools and a bunch of ideas and a bunch of words that I can give the world that can change the world. And I feel like if I don't give the world what's inside my brain, then I'll be cheating them out of a service. So basically, and another thing that really inspires me to write the book is my daughter, to make sure that I have something to leave for her so she can go back and always read.
So, I know you mentioned in conversation that was Garrett's popcorn shop, was that your first job that you ever worked?
Um, Technically, yeah, I did work at the Boys and Girls Club before, but yeah, technically my first real job as an adult, yeah, it was at Garrett's Popcorn.
Do you feel like, because I know the Boys and Girls Club, just like with the knowledge that it is that I have about it, um the Boy and Girls Club is very, like, it involves people that are, I guess you could say, inspirational and motivational. So like between those two jobs, I know with Garrett's, were you a supervisor at Garrett? Did you mention that you were a supervisor at Garrett?
Yeah, I made it to supervisor.
Yeah. Do you feel like working in both of those roles played a big part in the path that you ended up choosing to where you are now?
Yes, honestly, because like I said, okay, the Boys and Girls Club, like you say, yeah, that's one facility, okay, where you know, with all the kids and everything. So I was really starting to learn who I was. Okay, I knew I wanted to be in control from the Boys and Girls Club. I knew I could deal with people very good. So then I got to Garrett's, and then I realized, well, at my first job, that I ain't like to be told what to do too much. Like I'm the type, I prefer to do it before you tell me what to do, because I don't like to be told what to do. So with that being said, that increased my work ethic. So I always outworked the next person because I don't want nothing to be said to me. So with me making it to be a supervisor there, I told them Gary's that I wanted to be a manager. I had gave Garris a year and a half of my time. I was 21 and a half, going on 22. And I gave him a year and a half of my time. And I just didn't want to be making popcorn. I felt like popcorn that wasn't my life anyway. Like I always knew there was more in store for me. But I told actually the manager at that time, her name was Vonda. I told her, I'm gonna give you 6 more months of me, of hard work, of blah blah blah. And if I'm not promoted to the manager by then I don't know if I can no longer be here. But I gave her the 6 months, worked hard, came to her. She told me she couldn't promote me. I quit it the next day, honestly. The next day I came back in with my stuff, and this was during the time where minimum wage was probably like $8 to $9. I was probably making, at the supervisor I got salary, so I was probably making anywhere from probably like $1,700 to $2,000 every 2 weeks. That was considered a lot of money then. But the next day I walked in and I quit it, and I didn't know what I was gonna do next. I quit it without even. I honestly, they always tell you to quit when you have a second job, but I quit it during that time without having no second job, without not even knowing. But I quit it knowing that I wasn't gonna work for nobody else again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I quit it with the mindset of I can't have a job. So yes, that's what led me to be where I'm at now. Yes, if you want to say that, because the me quitting that job let show me what a job was, and made me open my eyes to say I don't never want nobody to be my boss, to control who makes me manager or who controls if I get promoted or not.
Mm-hmm. What skills do you feel like from working in that position, what skills do you feel like you were able to gain from it or take with you as you stepped into this next chapter of your life that were helpful in preparing you for those next steps?
Which position, at Garris or my business, my door-to-door sales business?
I would say Garrett's transitioning into the door-to-door business.
Um, really, Garris wasn't the thing that, I mean, some people, everybody's born with a gift. Everybody's born with a talent. It's just up to you to figure out what your gift is and what your talent is, and figure out what your purpose is. So one thing I consider myself born with, I was born with the gift of gab, of meaning words. I've always been able to communicate. I've always been able to talk, but the gift of gab is meaning like being able, if you learn the world, once you learn the world, what that really taught me is, once I learned the world is about selling. If you have to be able to sell something, if you're not able to sell anything with your words and with your gift, with your mouthpiece, then you're not gonna really get anywhere. And I learned that that's what's in the business world. So I've always knew how to talk. I ain't tell you, most of my life when I was 8, 9 years old, I was the type of kid. I was the downtown of Chicago with papers saying that I played for a basketball team, and I'll be out there begging the white people for change to support our team. But the whole time there's no basketball team, but I have to come up with this whole script of to make these people believe that I'm on a basketball team. So it just gave me more of a hustle to understanding that I could get paid off my conversation, learning how to get paid off my words versus me
Mm-hmm.
getting paid off my what can I say? What word am I looking for? I'm looking for a certain word. Um, Never mind. But versus me getting paid like using my legs and arms, I just learned to get paid with my voice, basically.
So, aside from, working in, what's the word I'm looking for? Aside from like working retail, so to speak, what is it that made you want to work in door-to-door sales? Because I know that's a completely different ball game than working retail.
Um, I never saw myself doing door to door sales. Never envisioned it. Never ever could put myself in that place. Chicago. I was 22. I gang banged. I had a gang banging tattoo on my neck. During this time, it was not good to be caught in certain areas. So, like, honestly, door to door, did I see it? No, but when I went, see, I found door to door off a number off a pole, and it was a call now start today. And this was during, and it was a month after I quit Garrett's. And I was just like, all right, it's been a month. Like I told you, I wasn't going back to no job, so I wasn't looking for a job. But I'm like, all right, call now, start today. Let me see what that is. And then I went in, called. I went in for the interview the next day. What really got it was my trainer. His name is Deshante. He took me to the field and he showed me how to make basically him with his pay. It was $500, but he showed me how to make $500 in one day. And I was just basically blown away. Like if you can make $500, I know for a fact I can make $500. So after that day, I just never left because the money really intrigued me.
So, with that job, what exactly do you feel helped you? What strategies or techniques did you learn with doing that helped you to exceed in your field with where it is that you are now?
Um, Dealing with people, problem solving is a skill. A lot of people don't understand that. If you're running any business, you have to deal with people. If you deal with people, I mean, if you're the owner, guess what? You got employees. However it may go, it's all dealing with people. So, customer service, the way you speak to a person, the way you address a person, like I said, problem solving. Also, my business is all about building somebody up to the next level. So, it's been plenty of people. I don't boast or brag about it, but it's plenty of people in life out here who I've impacted or changed in some type of way, or taught them or led them to go to be better at their life in some type of way. So I just really say it just gave me that skill of problem solving, that understanding my leadership, truly understanding. Also, it gave me to truly understanding my bossness and my voice, how powerful my voice was. I never really knew how powerful my voice was until I really got to running my own business and seeing how my voice, how people respond and reflect to my voice. So just learning how powerful words is altogether, pretty much. So I feel pretty much that has helped me excel because I now know how to deal and read, and also reading people. I know how to deal and read a person before they even know that I've read them or anything. I can look you in your eye and look you up and down about be able to tell you what type of person you is or what you done or get a type of energy from you or if you a hard worker or not. It just gave me the ability to be good at reading people as well.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. With you mentioning too, with you being in a gang in the midst of that, like that sounds like a really huge transition and transformation, from working where you were, being in a gang, and then going into sales. How do you feel all of that? How do you feel that transformation affected you spiritually as a Black male?
Um, See, I went to jail when I was 18 years old. When I was 18 years old, I went to jail. That was the first. Well, I've been went to jail before for little things when I was a juvenile, but I never stayed, so that never really registered to me. But when I was 18, I caught my first adult case, and it was a armed robbery. It was 3 counts of armed robbery, and my case carried 21 to 75 years in jail. So I had to, at 18, I had to sit. At 18, I had to sit in jail for a year and a half, and I had to fight my case. And luckily, I mean, not even luckily, I don't believe in luck. I was blessed. I had a good lawyer, and honestly, like I always say, I did do it. I did rob him, but to come to your question spiritually, that's where I really became spiritual at during that time in my life when I was 18. I had a cellie. A cellie is your roommate while you're in jail, and he just told me like, if you do anything, he said, if you do anything while you in here, the best thing for you to do is to connect with God. And I ain't never really have a relationship with God, but because I was living the type of life I was living during that time, who thinks about God? But he told me that if anything, that's when I really honestly picked up a Bible. So by the time I got out of jail when I was 20. I spent a year and a half. Yeah, I was like 19. I got out of jail when I was 20 years old. Boom. So after that, after I got out of jail, I had prayed every day that I was in jail. I prayed to God, and my prayer would be, I know I did what I did. I'm not lying to you. I understand that I did what I did. But Lord, you know that I'm not meant to be in this place. This is not my life. And I ask for forgiveness. And I say, Lord, if you let me out of jail, I'll never touch a gun or a gang bang again. And he let me out of jail. So that was my spiritual awakening right there. Like, with him letting me out of jail, and all three of the people came to court to tell on me, and I still got out of it. That was my spiritual awakening. So after that, I didn't ever touch a gun, or I didn't gang bang anymore. I haven't touched a gun, a gang bang, probably since I was 19, 20 years old. So that was my spiritual awakening.
That's definitely a blessing for sure. So You did mention that you have a daughter. How old were you when you had her?
Harmony's 9. I was 21, going on 22.
So how was and that's I know me myself, that's a whole experience in and of itself being a parent. How was that whole experience with you going through all of these transitions and changes that you went through?
Um, See, the thing is about me, also, the thing is about me being a parent. Um, I was ready to be a parent. Me being my daughter was all planned. So like, I didn't have a baby by like mistake. I didn't get the woman pregnant by, just having senseless sex or whatever the case may be. I was grown. I was 21. I was 22 years old. And then I was ready for a child. The reason why I was ready for a child, because I wanted my child, I wanted my daughter, well, my child. And actually, the funny thing is, I wanted the daughter. I wanted a daughter. So I wanted a daughter because during this time of my life, I needed love. And I just wanted someone that I could love. I didn't want to have a son because at that time I wasn't trying to be hard. Like, I didn't want to be tough. I just wanted love, and I wanted love back in return. So I just wanted a daughter, someone that I can just give all my love to. So with me having my baby, that was just everything that I wanted. So it wasn't really no big surprise or nothing, but it was yes, like you say, it's a very big transition into life, yes, but I was prepared for the transition. Like, I waited on it, prepared for it. If y'all was to meet my daughter now, she's well taken care of, know so much. So I was very prepared to be a father, honestly.
Oftentimes, I know a lot of people always say, aside from what we ask for, that God always gives us, He gives us the child that it is that He gives us the child that it is that we need. And I know just having a daughter, it's not even just always so much about, telling them what to and what not to expect from boys and all of those different things, while still equally being the same thing that we're telling them to avoid. So, like, in what ways did you having a daughter shape you as a man, or just, have those moments where you're like, dang, like, I can't be telling her to don't do this and don't do that, and I'm doing the same exact things that I'm telling her not to get involved in?
Um, like you say, it goes a little bit deeper than just like telling her about just boys, because I have real conversations with my child. Honestly, I don't lie to her about life, so she know things that the normal child may not know. But when it comes where I had to make the changes in my life, is that comes from one main thing, is me dealing with more than one woman at a time. Um, I ain't never really want to show my daughter that me. I ain't never want her to just. She never really just seen me with a bunch of girls. Like, I I just didn't. I just didn't want her to see that part of me either. So the more I grew, the more by the time I'm 31 now, but by the time I made the age of 25, I say 26, probably a little bit earlier than that, I was already like a little done with me messing with multiple women. So like, that's one thing that my daughter did that I didn't want her to see me do, is mess with multiple women. Another thing is me showing her. I always made sure I showed my daughter a different life. So it's two different lives out here that you could show a person. You could show a person a regular life where they believe life is regular, whereas it's we wake up, eat food, you go to school, and you come home. No, my job and still is to make sure that she just has an extraordinary life. So I just work hard to make sure she does everything. Like she's already been to Disney World and already done everything. She has all the materialistic things. I mean, it was a time that I looked at materialistic things as something. So like whenever I bought myself something materialistic, I bought it for her. So she's just been the one that's been climbing with me the whole time, pretty much. So, and then to bring to come, and then what I learned to come from that, the materialistic. So, to not to get off topic, but my daughter was just getting in trouble in school a little bit, and the reason why she was getting in trouble in school a little bit, cause just say she'll lose focus or whatever. And then I asked her a question. And my question that I asked her is, I said, what do you want people to say about you when they see you? And she was like, what do you mean, Daddy? And then I broke it down to her. Like, this is what people say when they see me. But what do you want people to say about when they see you? And the first thing she said was, I want them to say that I look nice. And I can see that I programmed that in her head. So it's just all about child development, just making sure that you program the right things in their head. So like I couldn't even be mad at her that when she said that, because it's like I programmed her that way. Like, but I didn't, because I told her at the end of the day, like that's like okay, like you say, like when you smoking a cigarette and you telling your child not to smoke a cigarette, and you smoking one right in their face, and you like, don't smoke a cigarette, and you expect them not to smoke a cigarette. That was the same thing I was like expecting out of my daughter. Like, I want people to say that I look nice, so how can I get mad at her for her saying that she want people to say that she look nice? I just have to learn how to reprogram her mind about it. So just the whole thing is just a learning process, honestly.
Yeah, that's very true. As a parent, a lot of times when you see children do certain things, of course, kids are always going to learn things from the outside world, but a lot of things too that they learn starts at home. So when they mirror something back to you that shows you what you've been instilling in them, you can't really be mad. The only thing that you can do is, ask yourself, like, okay, where in myself did I feel that this was okay, to the point where I felt that this knowledge was okay passing down to my child. So I can
Yeah,
definitely emphasize with that.
and it also, not to cut you off, it also goes with too, like I was a little bit telling her like about like when you grow up a little bit, the way you feel about school. I was giving her like, okay, I went through school. I graduated out of 8th grade. I graduated out of high school, but my thought process through school, I mean, in grammar school, I got all A's and B's because I actually cared. But my thought process in high school was F school. But I thought that I'm so honest with my child. I thought I can tell her that too. So, meaning, I thought I can tell my child F school, like, we got it. Like, I tell my child, like, you gotta do school no matter what. All I need you to do is learn how to read, learn your 1, 2, 3s. After that, I got you. School don't matter. Them people in school don't matter. The teachers don't matter. But I've learned that's the wrong message to give her, because me giving her that message is giving her the thoughts of exactly what I said. F school. So how can I expect her to perform if I'm giving her the message of it doesn't matter to me? So that's another thing that I had to rechange and come at, because I was telling her a lot, like school doesn't matter. Like, so I just had to rechange that.
Even having that thought process, and I know this is something that you can probably relate to too. Um, Having a child, especially having a child that young, in what ways do you feel like she may have helped you to heal, or she may have helped you to face your own traumas or demons from your own childhood?
Um, it's a good question. Like I told you, the reason why I wanted a daughter was because I needed love. So she filled that void there immediately. That's what I needed. That's what she healed. Um, I have a mother and father. I mean, but I'm not. I didn't necessarily have the closest mother and father relationship. So I didn't. I learned. I didn't know what it felt like to be loved by my mom, or I didn't know what it felt like to be loved by my dad. Like I didn't know what that honestly felt like. Like I thought I did. I thought I experienced it, but the older I got, I didn't know what that was. So having a child, she fills the void of me worrying about the love of my parents, because now I have to give the love to a child. So I thought I first, well, I had diagnosed myself with abandonment issues. Why? Because I felt like I just couldn't be alone at some points in my life. But that was the purpose of me having a daughter, for I never had to be alone. So she's just helped me heal with a lot in the man. She keeps me cool. She keeps me at bay. She keeps me at balance. Whenever I feel like everything is wrong, or whenever I feel like I need to do more, or whatever the case may be, I think of her. And so she's my she's my light.
It sounds like she put you in a bit of state of reflection there.
Huh?
I said it sounds like she put you in a bit of a state of reflection there. Because I
Yeah.
noticed, like, as you started talking to her, just like
She
the way
made me
that your
be an
voice
adult.
softened.
Yeah, she made me be an adult, honestly. No more I could, yeah. She made me turn into an adult. So, most people who have kids, I ain't gonna say most people, let's not do that, but some people who have kids, a kid don't turn them into an adult at all. They still
Mhm.
act like the kid that they had. Like, but my child actually turned me into the adult that I needed to be.
I know, I'm not sure. I know we've spoken about like certain aspects of spirituality, but I know your daughter is a Gemini and my son is a Gemini also. And I don't really know if like you could probably agree with this or speak to this, but one of the things too that my son has taught me being a Gemini is, while kids do put you in a position to they essentially force you into adulthood sometimes. There's nothing gradual about having a child and it being a gentle transition into adulthood. But one of the things that I can say is my son reminded me to have a childlike heart. Like it's okay to be an adult, but to always have a childlike heart, because it's like as a parent, if you want your child to come out sane and grounded, you can't have this like strict rigidness about you, or else you just gonna send it's almost kind of like you just gonna send a 9 to 5er into the world. Like, you know what, you
Mm-hmm.
need to, like you said, that whole little cycle, eat, sleep, work, and repeat. So like
Yeah.
um really having that essence of remembering to have a childlike heart as an adult, especially when you're raising a child.
And that's the main thing too, like you said, is killing the generation. I mean, killing the cycle. Like, when do you break it? You break it with your child. Like, I'm the type, not to get carried off, I'm the type, I told my daughter there wasn't no Santa Claus when she was 3. 2, I never wanted her to believe that it was a white man bringing her gifts, because that's never the case. So why would I leave her to believe that a white man is putting gifts under her tree? Why would I leave her to believe that all my hard work is done by a white man? I don't care about no Christmas ritual. I'm gonna tell her the truth. Ain't no Santa Claus. I'm Santa Claus. So that's what I kind of mean about breaking. I don't lie. Like, whatever the cycles is, and even when it comes to holidays, I'm not really big on holidays. All holidays are man-made, and like, I'm I'm all about breaking the cycle of generation, because I know I want her to teach her kids exactly the way I taught her, so the generation, so I can know that the cycle has been broken. If her kids come into this world talking about a Santa Claus, then the cycle hasn't been broken. They still believe ain't no Santa Claus. If you understand what I mean, I just put it in the simplest terms.
No, I definitely understand that. And a friend and I recently had a conversation about that last winter, cuz my mom, your grandma, she doesn't believe in any other holidays, and my best friend's father doesn't believe in it either. But and I don't even know if I've ever discussed this with you personally, but our ancestors, our family that's passed, I venerate them. I celebrate them. I talk to them, communicate with them, all of those different things. And what I had told my friend is, like, for me, celebrating the holidays isn't even so much, it's not even centered around,
The holiday.
yeah, it's not even so much centered around the holidays, because I mean, a lot of these holidays is commercialized.
Mhm.
But for
It,
me, what are you gonna say?
no, go ahead, because I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
But for me, it's more so the energy that's in those spaces. Like, for me, presents for Christmas and stuff was nice, but it was the joy of being able to celebrate that joy with family, extend
That's
that joy,
exactly. That's the only
extending that.
thing that I miss about the holidays. If that's the anything of the familyness of it. But as we grow older, like, Nyla would tell me, our auntie Nyla, we gotta understand that we who carries on these traditions next. Like, okay,
Mhm.
who takes on, who's the next uncle that cooks, who's the next auntie that cooks, like, who's the next, like, who takes on these responsibilities of making sure that the family sticks together. Honestly, that's, and if you ever paid attention to the family, or a family that sticks together, because I'm kind of a part of a family that sticks together. I'm not their blood, but I'm a part of their family. They like, but they see each other every weekend. They make sure every weekend that they're celebrating something, because it's not even about a holiday. It's just about us celebrating us being with each other.
Mhm.
But it's just like, with that, it's just us finding the person who's gonna bring us together as a family, when it doesn't have anything to do with holidays. Like, just say simple as Thanksgiving. I don't look at Thanksgiving as Thanksgiving. We all know Thanksgiving was, I mean, the real story behind Thanksgiving. We know we're not but we're celebrating the honor of us being able to eat together and still being blessed to have this food. We're not celebrating whatever was actually done on the day when we found out the truth. I mean, that ain't what we're celebrating, though. So I understand.
And you see, I really feel like, and this is definitely something that's crossed my mind over the years, because, like, even with you saying, it's not your blood, but it's a different family. And that's what's crossed my mind too, just with our family and just family, period. And I feel like for us, the reason why families these days, especially ours, is not as close as they used to be is because nobody wants to change. Like, it's one thing to forgive people for things that they might have done or forgive things they might have said, but it's like, what is forgiveness if the actions are still going to remain? And I feel like, just with how we are now, with us essentially being the new adults, if the way that we're set up, if we want to keep that foundation sturdy when it comes to family, we have to really be willing to work on ourselves. We have to be willing to
We have to
sit
be
down,
changed.
yeah, and just sit down and have those uncomfortable conversations. Because, like, one of the things, and I want to say I asked my mom this, and one part was asking her, and the other part has just been years of observation. And I realized, like, aside from families sticking together, the main reason why a lot of families are able to stick together is because they sweep stuff under the rug. But it's like, what does that do to your spirit by constantly sweeping stuff under the rug? And it's like, at the end of the day, you'll act like everything is okay and you'll act like everything is fine, but really it's not.
And do you know, see that, see, um, how can I respond to that? I'm gonna respond basically to the sweeping the things under the rug thing. So like I told you, like I got a mom and dad. They're both here. They're both alive. They're both healthy. But as far as me coming up, growing up, a lot of things got just swept under the rug. Like, remember I told you I didn't know what it felt like to be loved because a lot of the things just got swept under the rug. And then as I turned into an adult, everything that was swept under the rug, guess who rug it was under? It was under my rug. So when I flipped this rug over, I still got all these. This is what you call childhood trauma when you don't think you have it. But when you get an adult and you flip under this rug, you still have all these things that you haven't dealt with that happened when you was a child that still affects you now because you swept everything under the rug. But one thing I tried to do, I've learned a lot of things during that process. So when I came across that process, I wanted closure. So I had a resentment against my mom. I had a resentment against my dad. Like I felt as right now to this day I don't. Right now I can say I love my mom. I could truly say I love my mom. But it was a time that I felt like I could say I did not love my mom. Like I can say that. I can say that with her. I don't love her because she didn't give me nothing to love. Like what do I love her for? What is like? I look at family as if family is not showed. Family is just a word to me. If it's no action put into the word, then it's not. Is it? It's not a family. It's just a word. You have to put action into the word family to make it a family. So I had to open those doors up, those closed doors that you just talked about, those swing doors, those things that we sweep under the rug. I had to, you eventually, if you want any, but I've learned in life that you don't even need closure. That's one thing I thought that I needed. I needed closure from people. Like, even right now, I haven't talked to my father and I don't know how long. I've got closure from my mother. Me and my mother, we talked for hours and like you have said, things is about change. So even after we talked and we made up, we never really communicated. Like, meaning she never called me, I never called her. But you say it's about change. So I started to make a different change. I made sure I called Lisa once a week, or I made sure I visit her. I just made a change. Okay, let me start to show her that I love her and see, do I get something back in return. Now, where it goes, like I said, how I learned that you don't need closure to move on. Sometimes you have to accept things as it is, and you have to close that door on your own. If you sometimes just if you wait on somebody to close a door on something in your life, then that door will be open forever. If you waiting on somebody else to close it for you, if you literally waiting on somebody else to close the door for something in your life, you want them to close it, you'll be waiting forever, because people don't care. Most people don't care. They don't care to close a door in your life over something that they did. They that's just not what they're thinking about. So, in order for you to move on better, sometimes you gotta suck it up and close that door yourself. So, and that means leaving things that swept under the rug, leave them under the rug. But you deal with those things with you and God. That's how you get those things under the rug. You talk to God about those things that was swept under the rug, and God will let you know what to do with those things that's under the rug. I ain't gonna lie to you. God will lead you where you need to go with those things that's under the rug. That's how I feel.
I can definitely agree with that. And that reminds me, like that last part that you said, that kind of reminded me of, just even areas for me that I didn't get closure. But one thing, like I told you, with the whole ancestor veneration communication, my brother, your uncle, there was a lot of times that I would sit up and I would have conversations with him, and he would just be coming to me telling everybody's business. But it wasn't like trying to gossip. It was just like for me, when it came to closure and understanding how it is people operate, you have to have that same understanding that it's not, how that saying goes, it's not you, it's me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that can be very much applicable when it comes to people around you, but also when it comes to family, is it's like, oh, it's not that this person feels some type way or they hate you. Like, this is how they've always been. And then
Then,
presenting you with different situations. But I think too, one of the biggest things that's hard to accept with closure is that person and their actions. None of that, what's the word I'm looking for? None of that will matter until they see that it is an issue and they want to change those things. Because people can see that something is an issue and still continue on. But if they don't want to change it, like you said, you're just going to have to accept that closure is not coming.
yeah, you gotta just, and that comes, and how I got to that point is just learning and reading and understanding. Never take anything personal somebody says. Anything somebody says about you is only a reflection of their self. So, and I had to take that because I've, like I told you, I've been so great on so many people's lives, but I also been ridiculed a lot. I also been the same people that I've helped and did the most for is the same people that probably been ridiculed and drug my name in the dirt. The worst is off of lies, but and I used to look for closure with them people, but I had to learn and read that, and that's how I let it go. Is I don't take nothing personal nobody says about me anymore. You can say whatever you want to say. I guarantee you can say whatever you want to say. I'm gonna give you a thumbs up, and I'm gonna tell you to have a blessed day. I'm truly not gonna let your words affect me. Like you can't tell me you're a broke dummy, and then that actually affects my attitude. That's not gonna actually affect. I've learned to truly not to take things personal that people say, but that comes with the training of the mind. You have to really know how powerful your mind is. Your mind is the powerful thing that we have. So once you really know how powerful your mind is, then you really can do whatever you want to do. And that's as far as controlling your energy, your thoughts, your process, how you move. You control your mind to the point you make yourself happy every day. You make yourself happy. You determine if you're happy or not. You can wake up and say I'm sad and be sad, but you could wake up in a pot, in a hole, sitting in a bucket, but you could wake up happy because you blessed that God gave you another day, versus looking at it like I'm sitting right here in the middle of the street with nothing. You just got to figure out what to be grateful for, what to be happy for. The thing I've just learned to be happy for the and grateful for the simple things out of life now. So I be grateful with just honestly just waking up every morning. I'm happy with that alone. But that alone gives me happiness.
You know, that's especially with everything that you've mentioned, like all the obstacles and the successes and the stuff that it is that you've gone through and that you've reached. Having that mindset is definitely not, it's not an overnight thing. And I
No,
think
it's
a lot
not.
of times, you know, with you being a motivational speaker and just the way that you insert yourself into the world, a lot of people will kind of like see that, or like even too with you stepping into the YouTube world, people will kind of look at that and it's like they're not realizing this is a not a day, sometimes it's not a day by day thing, it's a hour by hour, minute by minute thing, because it's not going to be like God's going to come to you one day and be like, okay, well, here's a test to see if you can meet up to the things that it is that you say you're wanting, or the things that it is that you're asking for. And just for you personally with that, I'd say it may be a combination, but do you feel like getting to this mindset was through your own experiences, or do you feel like you have specific people that are in your life that contributed to you having this change of mindset?
I mean, you could never say you did anything alone because nothing is done alone. Nothing great. Anything that was done for work, anything that was done with any significance of greatness, it was never done alone. Always remember that. It was always somebody with them on the side, there along the way. So I ain't never, nothing comes along, so I can never take the credit to say, oh, yes, I was just that strong minded. I mean, of course, we have individuals. See, with me, I'm a different individual. Okay, let me put it like this. You had said one thing that kind of stuck out to me, like you said, like God ain't just gonna come down and just woo woo. Like you have to learn that this is a what you say, an hour, a step by step process, and that's the whole purpose of my book, is to give you that and to teach you that motivation in life, period, it ain't just, it's a everyday thing. You have to go through these steps every single day to be motivated. You can't, I had to, it's this word, and it's called garlic, and I've learned to live by it. It's a garlic, but it's called garlic, but it's an acronym, and I'm gonna tell you what it means. And just because of door-to-door sales and certain things, these words and these things that they taught us to live by this way. So if I have to live this way, then I have no choice but to change my life. And the word garlic, specifically, the one thing that stuck with me, garlic, what it means is goals, and then the A means attitude, and the R means responsibility, and the L means leadership, and the I means image and income, and the C means consistency and compliance. So when you just put those words in front of your life and then you actually reflect on them and you start to live by that, then you will actually see like, oh, I'm getting something done. But if you put somebody's life that's actually not living by that, the word, but people, is the thing is, it's so crazy. A lot of people live by this, what I just said, garlic, if I broke it down, without them even knowing that they live this way. It was just something they already have. But the people that don't, those are the people that, I mean, everybody's not, everybody, like what I did say, everybody has a gift, but everybody's not made to be a leader. Like, I can, like, just like everybody's not made to be rich. Like, you could give a person $1 billion, if he's not made to be rich, he's gonna go back broke. It don't matter. It's the same way with a leadership. You could give somebody a position of lead. If they're not meant to lead, guess what? They're gonna lose the position of being a leader, because some things is not meant for people.
You know, something else that it is that I learned, is a saying that an old friend of mine used to always say, it's not on me, it's in me.
Oh
But
wait, it's
one
oh wait. Say it again.
but no, the one
It's
thing.
not on me, it's in me. That's the truth. That's the hey, man. Look, that's life right there. Actually, but what I learned is, not to cut you off, you can put it inside somebody though. That's what I mean about leadership and having mentors. Like, I believe every person should have a mentor. You always need somebody in your life that's doing better than you. You gotta see somebody doing better than you. You have to talk to somebody doing better than you. Cause if you not, you're not, you ain't getting, you not seeing what's actually can be happening out here. If you steady talking to dealing with the same people who all got the same thing you got, you will never realize how much it is to life.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes back to that saying, like you said, and most people, those who are successful, but I don't determine. See, I don't. Money doesn't make you money doesn't make you. So I don't judge a person based off the amount of money they make. Money doesn't make you. Money doesn't determine if you're a great person or none of that. You can have $1 billion, and that doesn't mean you're a great person. Money doesn't make you a great person. So it's just going and understanding what you gave to the world, because whatever you put out to the world is gonna always come back to you.
I definitely agree with that. The reason too that it was that I brought that up, just to kind of like tail back off of what you were speaking with leadership, that whole saying, like, it's not on me, it's in me. But you know, even something that it is that I have learned, and this has probably been one of my hardest lessons. You know, there's a lot of people, like you said, there are a lot of people that they have their own gifts. There are some people, those gifts are generational, like it's in their DNA. They couldn't take that gift out. They couldn't take that gift out even if they wanted to. But
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to gifts is, just because it's in you does not mean that it doesn't need to be strengthened, because those gifts are just as equally a muscle.
That's
Like,
the same. That's the same thing as a basketball player. You could, a basketball player has the gift. He could be natural talent, but you think he gonna stop shooting his threes? No, it's a gift. Any gift that I learned, any gift that you work at it hard about it. The more you work at it, the better and better and better, the better you get at it. Like how I say my gift was talking, or the motivational speaking. I only figured that was my gift because I did it over and 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 over again. Like, okay. And I put so much practice into it, and then I watched how it reflected into people. Like, before I announced myself as something, I actually watched the results of it. I wouldn't consider myself a good motivational speaker or a good talker or none of this if I didn't see the results of what my words have actually done. Like, I wouldn't even boast or brag. I wouldn't even give myself that title. But Like you said, a gift is like it's like muscle memory. It's something that you, if you don't work at it, then it's not gonna come out. It will just sit there. Like if you any gift, that's what, like you say, that's what any gift. It'll just sit there if you don't work at it. Like just like I may say like this, for instance, I I haven't wrote a book. I'm in the midst of it, but I feel like I have a gift with writing because of the ideas and the way my thought process works. Now, if I don't go along with that and I don't write the book and I don't write no books, that's the same thing as us saying as me not exercising my gifts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wasting, like, that used to be my fear, man. My worst is one thing I used to feel. I used to feel one thing. I don't fear nothing no more because you aren't supposed to fear anything, what I read. But I used to have one fear, and my one fear was a wasted potential. I used to fear all my life. I did not want to waste my potential. And this is ever since I've been a kid. Like, I always thought, like, I always knew I could be great. Always knew. So I always told myself, like, my worst fear is for me to end up 40 years old and not accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, or whatever the case may be. My worst fear was always not fully reaching my potential. So that's why once I figured out me personally, once I figured out once I figured out what one of my gifts was, which was talking. Once I figured that out, that's why I attacked it so hard. Okay, I figured something out that I'm good at. Okay, cool. But sometimes we blessed with multiple gifts, so that's why you have to venture. Because I'm talking, and like I said, I may have the gift of writing. I may have a gift of creating movies and everything. However, you just gotta. You don't know until you give it a try. Like I say, my saying is this. This is another thing that I learned from having a child. Your job is to guide your child to their success. Meaning you lead them up into what you help them find out their gift. You don't
Mm.
you don't help a child find out their gift by sending them to school. School ain't gonna help them find their gift. Cause what do they teach you in school to find the gift? What you could probably find out if they're academically smart. That's a gift. Okay, cool. But or sports, and when they participate in sports, cool. But other than that, what gifts do school really help you unlock? It's so many people who've unlocked their biggest gifts and didn't go to high school or
Mm.
barely had anything. It's most of the people. So that tells you right there that school doesn't truly unlock your potential. So that's why I speak on is very good, like you said too. Yes, exercise your gifts especially once you realize it, and you have to realize it if you have a gift or not. You don't need it's the same thing as the saying, as I like to say. You don't need nobody to tell you that you're a leader for you to be a leader. If you need somebody to say that you're a leader for you to be a leader, you never was a leader. You, cause you never was. Cause I never needed nobody to tell me that I was a leader. I already knew that. I never needed nobody to tell me that, hey, you're number. I already knew that already. So it's like that goes back to that saying, and what you just said is, it's not on you, it's in you. Like I already knew that it was in me, pretty much. But my job is to have my goal, and like I said, my service is to give the world what I have in me. I feel like I'll be doing the world a disservice, us minority, us people, a disservice if I don't give them the knowledge that I have.
It was something that it was that you said that I wanted to touch on, but too, just like with how you were saying about, you being a motivational speaker and then you write, and I feel like too, a lot of the times, one of the greatest gifts that we as humans can have is being alchemists. And I feel like too, a lot of the times the thing is like how you were saying, just, with you being a motivational speaker, sometimes you really have to think outside of the box, like, how else can I better reach people? In what ways can I alchemize my gifts? Because it's like, you can do motivational speaking, but also how many more people can you reach through YouTube? How many more people, like, what if there's somebody that's not keen to YouTube but they love to read, and then you writing your book helping to reach even more people. I think sometimes that's where people can get stuck, or like having that, like, quote unquote, like writer's block or creators block, is because they don't find other ways to utilize their gifts, and they place themselves in this box, and they're like, oh, because I started like this, it has to continue being like this. And
Mhm.
they essentially rob themselves of potential opportunities, or just even moments of growth, because they feel like they have to only do something one way.
And my main thing with that I mean, cause I had to break my shell with that too as well, because I mean, once I got to door sales and I climbed the ranks, and then I became the point to become a owner, and then let's just say before the pandemic happened, that's that's all I knew. I mean, like before that's all I knew. That's all I was figured out that I was gonna do. I was probably making over $7,000-8,000 a week, probably. Like, so it was like there was nothing out there for me. But what that did was, what you talking about was, it killed my creative gen. So like, because I thought I was, when you feel like you're in a comfortable place, it kills your creativity. What brings out creativity is uncomfortableness. You have to be uncomfortable to be creative. Think about it. If you're in an uncomfortable position, how do you get out of that position? You think, right? You get creative. You create something. You create a way, you cut just a simpler way. If you're stuck in a box, creative way, you cut a hole in this box and you climb out of it. That took what? Creativity. So you gotta learn that the world starts with creation. God created everything. Water. It starts with creation. So once you lock once you lock that bubble in your mind of creativity, like a lot of people do, once you lock that little piece in your brain of creativity, you will be stuck in that same spot because you got comfortable. And that's like most of the world. Like, once you get, like, most of the people are okay with scrolling on Instagram and looking at people who got nice things, as long as they feel like, oh, I paid my bills and I bought me something to eat, I'm straight. How do you feel that you straight? But that's their creativeness. That's your imagination. Like, that's another thing. That's why in school they'll tell you imagination is dumb. In school they'll tell you don't not to have an imagination. But your imagination is everything.
Uh-huh.
Everything that you imagine actually comes true. If you
So,
really wanted to. So you just have to understand your creativity and your imagination. You use your creativity and your imagination, you can change and get to wherever you want to.
given that, and then just like well, what you said, and with you being a motivational speaker and you speaking to scrolling on social media, what is your perspective of this whole I want to say era, but it's definitely what it feels like, an era that has not died yet. What's your take on manifestation and vision boards?
See, honestly, see, I ain't gonna just say me, but I'm one of those people that truly understands. It was this spiritual lady, and she had all her spiritual degrees or whatever, and she did all the chakras. Okay, I'm just speaking on this, and she did. I can't think of the thing. She did my spiritual calibration number, whatever that thing when they calibrate your number, your is seeing how your wokeness is, right? Your level of wokeness. And she told me Jesus' goal was 1,000, and she did maths. And this is one of my customers that I signed up. She did maths, and she said, "Oh my God!" And I thought she was just playing. I'm not even really paying her no attention. She did it again. And then she come back and she say, "Wow." And I say, "What?" She say, "I have never ever met a man with the spiritual calibration numbers of yours. Most men score under a lure 400, 450, 500. She
Dang.
said your calibration level was all the way at 900, 1,000. She said you scored the same thing as Jesus. So I said, what does that mean, honestly? She just told me, what only thing that really means is your awareness to the world, your awokeness to the world. So to come back to what you said, your manifestation, I'm very awoken. So like I know if I sit here and I think all day, every day, I need this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I'm gonna get it. I know if I sit here and I think bad thoughts or I manifest these things, it's like they tell you, watch what you say out your mouth, even to yourself, because we talk to ourselves. Who do we talk to the most?
God
And ourselves. So you gotta watch what you tell yourself, because a lot of the times we don't get anywhere. It's because of what we telling ourselves. So just watch what you tell yourself. Sometimes you will tell yourself what you can't do, but you don't know because you didn't push yourself to the limits. It's like we go back to what we saying of those working those gifts. Do you think Michael Jordan would have been able to know if he can ran 6 rings but if he didn't push himself to his limits and practice? It starts with the littlest things. They say the devil is always in the details, which means that it's the littlest things that matters. The littlest things that matters that can get you to where you need to be. And that's exactly what you just said. Manifestation. And what's the other word you use?
vision boards.
Vision boards. Those are very small things in your life, especially a vision board. And I'm sitting here right now. I can show you me and my wife vision board. Our goals right up. I can show you right now. I can send you a picture of it. Got my goals, my wife goals, and it got couple goals. That's sitting right in front of our room. But that's because we understand, though. Like, I understand that if I write my goals down, I'm more likely to hit my goals. I understand that. Like, I'm the same way of a vision board. I understand if I put this on this board with manifestation and me seeing it, it's more likely for it to happen in my life. But if I don't put it out there, what are the chances of it happening? It's even more slimmer. So you just gotta understand that manifestation and vision board, it honestly increases your chances on your happiness, because like I told you, Happiness is determined by you. Even the word success is determined by you. You determine what's successful. Don't nobody determine what's successful but you. You determine what's successful to you. You determine what's successful to you in your life. You determine what happy point is you at in your life. So once you just understand manifesting in your vision board, it'll just basically help you understand. Help you control your own happiness to a better level versus you feeling like you need somebody else to make you happy. Because like they say, you can't love nobody unless you know how to love yourself. And that's the honest God truth. Like you can't, and I had to learn that. But I always love myself. But I had to think about that to the deepest terms of what is honestly loving myself. What is loving myself? What does loving me mean? What does loving you mean? Like, what did that actually mean? Because, like I told you, I didn't get that from a mother or daddy. So, like, these words of love and affection, like, I don't really know what these words mean sometimes. You get me? Like, I had to learn. Like, I don't really know what this means. Like, I don't really know how to do that. I don't know how to go that. I don't know how to go that far of loving myself because I ain't never seen nobody do that. I don't like we say, like we go by what we see. So if I ain't never seen nobody do this, then most likely I'm never gonna go. But like that's why they tell us, if you ever the saying, like that saying is, if you ever wanted to have something from somebody, put it in a book. And that's the truth. That's why they say that, and that's the honest God truth. Like, and that's why those people who don't read or don't look for knowledge, you will remain dumb, especially as we get, like, okay, just us who choose not to go to college. College only teaches you to get another job too. That's all, I'll be honest. Like, college teaches you to go into the workforce. That's what it teaches you to do. It teaches you to get a job. But
that aspect, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
That aspect, I will say I'll agree to disagree. And the only reason why is because I had a girl I was friends with. I told her, like, I want to go to school for psychology. This is something that I've been wanting for years. I've just always put it off. And I told her, like, yeah, I'm getting ready to sign up for school. And like how they said the devil is in the details. She was just like, oh, I went to school for cosmetology, and I'm not even gonna lie, it was a waste of my time. Like, I still have all my books and everything from school, but it didn't really do anything. And I'm just like, me making this decision is just not my own. This is with the guidance of my ancestors. This is with the guidance that it is that God has brought me back to this same point that I have been revisiting for over 5-6 years or whatever. And when I finally got into school, like, I'm not even in the portion where you're really learning about people and learning about the brain and how everything works. I have learned so much about myself, and I've only been in school since August, and I feel like sometimes everybody's schooling experience is different, and in just the way that it is they go into it. But I also feel like it depends on the career field that you're going into. But even if, say, somebody else wasn't going to school for cosmetology, like say they were going to school for engineering, like, you could learn about time management, you could learn about yourself as a person. I feel like there's nothing is ever fully a waste. There's always something to take from it. Even if somebody was in school, this is my last thing real quick. Even if somebody was in school for 2 years, say they spent that time in 2 years, but they met this specific person that pointed them in the direction that God wanted them to be in, but the only way that they would have gotten to that different direction
if they
was
went to
being in school to meet that one person.
And now that you say that, not that I take my words back, but I understand. I mean, I go back to I agree to disagree to the thing about school too, because um it's just what I was trying to I had something specifically on my mind. Like you said, like engineering or certain things you can actually you go to school to learn these things and you don't actually have to go to the job force. That's up to you. Those the people who choose that line of work. like
Mm-hmm.
like I say, like how I figure it like this. One thing I don't like, this is why I said that. One thing I don't like about people who go to school, okay, just say, okay, a nurse for instance. I don't like the stigma of, okay, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna go to grammar school, you're gonna go to high school, and then okay, all these people you want to be a nurse or CNA, you're gonna go do whatever you gotta do to do that. And then that pays you this amount of money. Why not go do the full potential of it? That's all how I feel. So like, why not go be a doctor? Why stop at a scene at the lowest pay? Go to the highest paying field of it and go. That's how I feel about school. If you're gonna do it, then fully do it. If you're not gonna do it, then don't do it, because it's gonna be a waste of your time. That's how I feel. Like, if you're gonna go to school, then go to school for 8 years and get your bachelor's degree and go be a doctor or a surgeon or whatever the case may be. But don't go there to waste your time and come out of school 5 years later and you in debt and you looking at me like it could be a waste. But like you said, everything also is about networking, about the people you get. Honestly, the people in your life is going to determine where you go in life.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very meaningful what you said. You gotta understand that too. Networking, like if you a person who just sitting in the house every day and ain't going nowhere, ain't going places, you ain't gonna never really get anywhere. Like I had to like I was trying to find me a hobby, and this old school man told me to go golfing, and I'm making golfing now a part of one of my hobbies. Why? Because the people that I golf with, I'm golfing with senators and presidents and people you don't even imagine it. And you know what they want to do? They want to have a conversation with me, and they want to find out what I do. And then they find out what I want to do, and then you know what they do? They invite you. Oh, you do
Mm-hmm.
that? Oh, wow! I was just looking for somebody who does that.
But
So networking is everything.
you know, and what you putting that in, it almost, I would say, it gave me the leeway to what it is that I was going to say next. Just think though, you're at the position where it is that you're at, and you having these meetings and these conversations with people that you never thought that you would have. But just like how you were saying, like in some instances, I definitely agree with that. You know, why stay at CNA? Why stay at this and why stay at that? That was something that I asked myself for a very long time. And it wasn't until I realized, like how you said, everybody has a gift. Some people's gift is being able to just simply bring a smile to somebody's
Somebody's
face.
face.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's like an example, say there was a woman that was a CNA, and she wanted to go farther than what it is. Like, she wanted to go farther than what it is that where she's at. And say she becomes a doctor, or she ends up owning a hospital. Now, let's also create another timeline. Let's say that woman stays a CNA, and there is a family who has somebody that needs in-home care. And just by her presence and her energy, not only does it change that patient's life, it changes that family. So it's like, there's certain spaces that God keeps people in because he knows the impact that he wants to have on him. That same impact that that lady had on that patient and her family, she wouldn't have been able to have, she may not have been able to have that same impact or connection if she owned that same exact hospital that she worked at.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was something else to that, that it
You're
was,
right about that.
that I was gonna say. But yeah, you know, like, even too, like, I don't know if you have ever like personally had this experience, but me, like, I go to Walmart, and one of the things that I notice is they don't put your bags in the cart anymore. And I am very much not even just so much customer service. I'm very much the thing that keeps me back going to people is the experience they provide. There was this one lady in a Walmart that I went to, and just the experience that she gave me, the conversation, you know, she put my items in the bag the same way I would do if I was bagging them. And not only that, she put all of my items in my cart. I only had one interaction with that lady. After I had that one interaction, every time I went to this specific Walmart, I made it a priority to go to her line.
But and I think that goes back to what you say when you asked me, how do I feel about when I was talking about social media and this area scrolling, and you was gonna say about this area, this era, this generation. Um, there is for the people that's like, okay, 25. If you're 25 and younger, you're in a different generation than that. You grew up different than me. Okay, so I'm gonna go down from 25 and younger. From 25 on down, I don't know what happened. I don't know what was the difference in the I don't know what changed with them kids and us. Like, I don't know what happened between. So what I mean is, this is the eighth graders and then the fourth graders. When we was in eighth grade, the fourth graders. I don't know. I guess it was, I could say, the parents, but my whole point of saying that is this: they say the world is gonna fail because of the generations to come, because because of the customer service of people. People do not know how to no longer deal with people. Why you think at all these jobs they trying to get robots? Because people do not know how to no longer deal with people. There's no longer, see, it was a real difference back in the day when we went, before we even entered the workforce. Our mamas and our daddies before them, they actually cared about their job. They actually went to work with honor, with dignity. It wasn't about, oh, I work at McDonald's. It was, you work at McDonald's and you made money and you came home. Now it's this stigma that, okay, even I've learned in my life, based off what I've been to now, based off what I've been through, not to judge nobody based off their job. I used to judge people based off their job. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if you worked at KFC, I will look at you like you're nothing. Like, if you work that, I'm gonna create a judgment in my head about you, especially if you at a certain age. I'm gonna instantly judge you. But who am I to judge you? Because of what workplace you work at, or because of what you decided to do with your life? Because, like I just said, whatever makes you happy, that's what makes you happy. So we can't, most of the time, this world is not this world, but these people, like they gotta fire the old to hire the new, but the new ain't like, they not built, the new is not built to last, if that make any sense. Like how you say that one, that I bet that was the only lady in Walmart that ever did that, and that's the whole people. Look how many people work in Walmart. That's my point. It's 70, it's 50 people that work at the cash register. But it's only that one lady that decide that, hey, I got real customer service and I actually care. I'm gonna put the stuff in her bag and I'm gonna put the frozen with the frozen and you feel me? I'm gonna put the wheat
Mm-hmm.
with the wheat for her, and I'm gonna do it the correct way. It's only so many people who I actually think like that. So when you go back to that question, what I think about this era, and as far as, because me myself, if you could ask anybody, I'm not a I, I I post on social media. Yes, I'm a type of person. If you really know me, I post on social media just for somebody to watch me. I don't post on. I don't. I give people something to watch. I don't. I'm not a watcher because I don't care if that makes any sense. Like I don't care about. And not to sound rude or anything like, but I don't idolize people. I don't really care about other people's life too much to be on the internet and just scrolling and just looking, and because I grew up in a different era. We grew up outside.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up where we had to go play outside. So like me staring and playing, and I don't know nothing about that. So like this world nowadays, what I what I've really truly realized, because I watch, you just gotta this world has no God in it, honestly. It has, that's why people keep saying that Jesus is going coming to return,
Child.
because this world has no God in it. Like you have the kids who idolize, who do these kids, who do people idolize nowadays, Ash? Let's be honest. They idolize who? People.
They idolize people. They idolize these TikTok
You
creators
hear me?
that paint these pictures of this perfect life, and
They
then the perfect life ends up in shambles. They're like, "Oh my goodness, you were so this," and "Oh my goodness, you guys were so good together." And it's like, too, because
right.
people have gotten used to curated lives.
Right, and that goes by these people simply idolizing people. Like there's no long like, but I'm glad when it goes back to that question when it says, when you ask me when did I come into my spirituality at 18, I've read. I'm so glad that I picked up that Bible at that age, because I one of the main scriptures, and I just told my wife this, one of the main scriptures that always stuck out to me was not to, God told you never to idolize no one but me. And I looked up the word idolize, and that always stuck with me. Like, uh, hmm, you're right. You are the higher power. I never supposed to put nobody life and make it try to be like theirs and make like, no, you are the one. Like, so that little scripture alone people don't even do, because right now the world, I was just thinking this earlier, the world is getting rich off the internet because of idolizing, because people literally, Instagram, Facebook, all of that is something idolizing you. You're a fan. But it's some people that takes this fan things. Not some people. I can't even say some people now, because it's majority. It ain't even some. Majority of these people is taking this, and now they're idolizing these people. And then, like you just said, you find out, like, okay, we're gonna say for innocence, before Puff Daddy, just all this just came out about P Diddy. Imagine how many people idolize this man.
Mm-mm.
Oh, P Diddy the GOAT, he did this for bad. But imagine all the people that idolize him. He named his daughter Love. Imagine all the people that thought so much of his character. Remember, I told you, money don't make you. But people would think because he's a billionaire that this is a generous guy, that he's so happy, that he doesn't do harmful things to women. But when the truth comes to the light, now you want to stop idolizing the man because the truth comes to the light. Which,
Everybody's looking for a savior.
Yeah, you feel that, but if you read the, not even read the Bible, if you know anything about the times of life, that's all they ever wanted though. Ashley, I ain't gonna lie to you. In all of the King's books and all of the Bible books, that's all the world ever wanted. That's what God. That's why God gave them so many people, and to the point He just said, I'm done. Y'all, the the people, since the dawn of time, people needed something to believe in. They
Mm-hmm.
needed a person since the dawn of time. So he kept giving them people. If you can read the books, there's so many kings and kings and kings of who he gave power to, and who was righteous kings and who wasn't righteous kings. But the whole time he kept telling them, like, y'all keep needing people, like y'all gonna keep needing people, like y'all don't understand that I am the one. Okay, I'm gonna keep giving y'all somebody then. If you want them, I'm gonna give you another person. If you want them, I'm gonna give you. If y'all want somebody to keep ruling over your life, I'm gonna give you somebody to rule over your life until you choose to follow by me. You're gonna go through whatever you go through till you choose to follow by me. But I try not to be very like too much spiritual so much nowadays, because like I don't be trying to, like, I don't know, rub people off the wrong way. I mean,
Man,
I'm not no deeply godly man myself, but I am a God fearing man. So like I live my life a certain way, if that makes any sense. Like the 10 Commandments do make sense to me. You feel me? Like certain things I do truly believe in the higher power. I do believe if I don't do right, wrong will be done to me. You feel me? Like, but like I was just telling my wife earlier today, and not even to get off topic, I was just telling her, like, God truly decides how He want our life to go. Like, for instance, I was telling her, like, it could be a person that's a murderer, and he can kill all these people and he can go to jail. But guess what? God don't want him to spend the rest of his life in jail. So guess what? He gonna get out of jail, because that ain't the way God want him to go. So he's gonna get out and he's gonna have his turn the way God wants him to have his turn. And then I told her, I thought about it like this. Now let's think about the people who get life sentences and they are innocent. Those people who went to jail, truly innocent, and they got 30 years. And how do those people believe in God? How do a person like that believe in God? And he's sitting in the cell for something that he or she didn't even do, and they sit in the cell for the rest of their life. And you want them to believe it in the God that put them someplace where they feel like they that put them someplace that they feel like they shouldn't even be. And I told her, like, do you know how you come one with yourself like that? It's a truly understanding of the higher power, like truly understanding that. Like I said, I don't be trying to sound, but you just gotta truly understand that your life is you are in control of your life, but your life is in God's hands. And once you realize your life is in God's hands, life will be a lot more smoother for you. And I told her, like, that's how those people get through that sentence, because they realize that no matter what, their life is in God's hands. Like, so, like, if God wanted me to be in jail for 30 years for something I ain't do, I guess He wanted me to be in here to talk to these people or something. But like you see, those people who end up doing that, they end up most of the time getting out of jail for a mistrial or a comeback or something happen, because everything happens a certain type of way for a reason. So like you said, it's a lesson to be getting out of everything that goes on in your life. You just gotta realize what is the lesson that you were supposed to learn. But everything that you go through is a lesson. You just really got to truly realize what is that lesson. Like I had to pay attention to that myself. Like what is the lesson that I'm learning out this situation? It's it's to stop you from making the same mistakes over and over again. But the lesson is also, like you said, is for growth. If you don't pay attention to the lesson, then there's no growth.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just a repeat of the cycle. Like it's just a repeat of everything that goes on. But
And I wouldn't like how you was like, I don't want to like get too spiritual or too deep. I feel like, you know, you're going to always reach the people that you're meant to reach. You may speak to one audience one way and you may speak to another way. And one of the things that I've had to learn just with me, I guess if you want to call it that, with me being spiritual is people will receive the message that you give when it's time to receive it. Sometimes it's only meant for you to plant the seed. How they perceive it and when it gets planted, and shoot, sometimes that person may not even be the one to water. You just plant the seed and they may come across 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more people, and they get to that seventh person, and that seventh person is the one to water the seed that it was that you planted. And even too, just kind of like tell back into what it is that you said, like about people and like them like wanting to have a savior and God and all that stuff. A conclusion I came to a couple years back or so was the whole idea when people are going to church and they say, oh, so and so fell away from the church. And it's like, me personally, because I have witnessed family members that quote unquote fell away from the church.
and
And
fell
I
away
felt,
from the church is what you stopped going.
yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of times, some people feel like the only way for you to meet with God is through, I think the word is, I think it will be considered congregation or through community or whatever. But sometimes God wants to have his one-on-one time with you. He doesn't want anybody preaching. He doesn't want anybody saying anything to you. He wants to have that time with you. But one of the biggest things that I am also still continually learning is God is not just an outside force. He's not just nature, the wind, the leaves, the water, the sun. He is a force that is within us. So
Right.
sometimes
God is
you may,
everything.
exactly, and it's like you may fall away from the church, but you end up building a better relationship with yourself. You end up building a better relationship with God, because sometimes it don't matter how many sermons or how many quotes that it is that you hear. You have to be in tune with your spirit. You have to be in tune with God to receive the answers. And sometimes, just like how that saying is, we're all God's children. Sometimes you have to meet people in places that you would have never thought to essentially get a word, because God is usually utilizing that person as a vessel to deliver a message to you.
And I like that what you said. One that just I really love what you just said. It's one thing that we stuck with a lot. It was that planting seeds. That's all we do. That's all my book is. That's all a motivational speaker is. I'm a seed planter. It's up to you to water the seed and make it grow. I just plant a bunch of seeds. Like you said, like at the end of the day, I know for me talking and listening to so many people talk, I've learned that I can talk to a group of 50 people. All 50 of the people ain't gonna get my message, but as long as one of the 50 people get my message, then then my message was done. If you understand what I'm saying, like, so I've gotten that thought and that process already, and understood that every message ain't for everybody, and it ain't gonna click for everybody until something actually happens. Like that's the same way, like in my line of business, like before I actually started to truly work for myself, I had to go through something with the company to really realize, like, oh, that's how it actually is. But at first, I was all like, I'll do anything for that company. I'll do anything for that person who ran the company. I almost put my life on the line. But until you are tested, and then I was tested. Like, okay, boom, they do this to you. Do you accept it? Do you forgive it? And then you forgive it, and then they do it again. Boom. So then it's the same saying. It goes back to, is you gonna let somebody keep pissing on you and tell you that it's raining? Is you just gonna keep letting them piss and just say it's raining? Like, that's how I felt about it. Like, I ain't gonna just keep letting nobody just, like I told you, like, I don't need nobody to tell me that I'm a leader. Like, I'm a leader. Like, so I don't need you to tell me how to make money or what to do next. Like, I actually gonna do, like I told you, I quit Garrett's with not knowing what I'm gonna do next. So, like, I'm not afraid to. I've never been afraid to face life. I always face the life head on. I don't got no choice. I've been in this life by myself. So me being in life by myself for so long, I've never been afraid to face life head on because I had no choice. Like, I got no choice but to go do it by myself. Like, because that's how it's been. So that's how it was too. Like, just to, like, with me stepping into working into myself, it was the same thing. Like, facing life by myself. Like, I'm like, okay, this is a familiar position for me before. I've been in this predicament before. Like, I've faced life by myself, okay? And you overcome. And that's what when we go back to the lessons, we use the lessons. That was just a lesson in my life. I gave that company 7 to 8 years of my life of hard work. And yes, I made a lot of money. Yes, I did that. But at the end of the day, it goes back to that real scene. Is you either gonna build somebody else's dreams, or you gonna make your own. It's like, that's the truth. Like, so I had to just realize that I'm my own dream builder. So I got my own dreams, so I don't got time to be building nobody else's dreams. I'm gonna find it. And like, I mean, if you understand the world and you understand things, everybody's made to be used. Everybody's gonna be made to be used for something. And like I just told you, everybody's not made to be a leader. Some people made to work at Walmart. That's why it's a Walmart. Some people made to work at McDonald's. That's why I told you, I stopped judging people who had jobs, because it's like, what if it wasn't what if you wasn't there? Then how would I get what I need? Mm-hmm. So obviously you was meant to be there, because I believe everything happens for a reason. So if I believe everything happens for a reason, I can't judge you for being nowhere, because that's where you were supposed to be at. So that helps me a lot, and that helps me get through life a lot and look at things. And I was gonna use the word humble, but I no longer use the word humble. I used to tell myself before, I had to really look at the true definition of the word humbleness and humble and where it come from. Like, because me myself, like, Ashley, I've always been confident. I'm an overconfident person. I always have the most confidence in myself. I'm gonna feel like I'm better than you at anything that I do. But there's nothing wrong with that. But somebody will tell you to be humble and dim your light and tell you not to feel like you're not the best at something. Now, it is something wrong with you boasting and bragging and throwing it in somebody's face, but humble, that's not being humble. Being humble is you telling yourself, okay, I'm not gonna be as great because I want that person to feel like okay. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna dim my light for that person light can shine brighter than mine. I'm gonna dim myself down for that person. Sometimes that's cool, but that's not the way life works. You don't just put yourself down for the next person, especially if that person hasn't reciprocated the same energy. Everything comes reciprocation. You give me the same energy, like, but that's what a job or the world wants you to do. They want you to be humble yourself. They want you to be humble because they don't want you to what? Figure out who you are. They don't want you to be great. They don't want you to untap your potential. Like, you think the world right now like that all these people are just all of a sudden becoming awakened, and all of the new generation is deciding that they don't want to get a job, that they want to open their business up. You think the world likes that? You think the world likes that everybody wants to be individualized? You think that's what they want? That's the last thing that they want. You think they like that so many people don't go to college now? You think that's how they lived, off college debt? So
You
you gotta,
know,
change is inevitable. You gotta just change with, you gotta go along. But you gotta create your own. Like I told you, everything is about creation. So you create your own path. You just gotta understand what you creating.
you know what you saying that reminded me of dang. Repeat back the last part of what you just said again, because I just completely lost my train of thought.
You gotta understand what you creating.
Not that part, the part before that.
I don't know. I don't be remember what I be saying. I be like,
Oh. It was a conversation I had with my mom lately. And people that are religious or just heavily into the Bible, they have this idea in their head that the world is coming to an end.
right.
And with me being spiritual, you know, I know that there is a difference between there is a transformation that is happening within the world, that it is either going to make you or it's going to break you. And just like with that, me and my mom were talking about that. She's like, yeah, the end of times is coming. They're coming. And I'm
Yeah,
just
my
like,
Nene be saying that.
I told her, I said, no, it's not. And she going to say, how do you know? And I was just like, Mom, think about it. I said, people are getting back to, like, not, I wouldn't say getting back to, it's becoming more common. People are getting into land. People are getting into trades again. People are, growing their own vegetables. People are gaining a whole new sense of awareness. I said, what is it? What did I say? I said the balance is being restored. But I was explaining to somebody too. With that, I was explaining to somebody. They asked me, they were like, "Why do you have 222 tatted on your wrist?" And I told them, and I said, because people think that balance is easy. There is nothing pretty about balance. Like, it looks cute and cookie cutter when let me take this off. Oh, let me take 3 more of that off. Now everything is off balance. And I'm just like, that is the state that the world is in right now. Like, it looks bad. We seeing all, like how we were talking about celebrities and saviors and all that stuff. Everything that's going around looks bad, but it's just all of these things are being taken off of the scale so that balance can be restored. And
But
because the world,
I believe too, though, all them people believe that, because, especially like, yeah, like you said, heavy religious people, especially like, like, who is it? Not, I want to say Jews. Is that the Jews? No. Jehovah Witnesses. They think Jehovah Witnesses are a little bit different than Christianity. This is all a see. That's the thing. Why I never picked a field. It was a time I almost chose to be a Muslim. And before I ever did anything, I'm not dumb. I just do research because I before I say I'm gonna do something, like I just got to see what I'm doing. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I can't just say that I'm Muslim. Let me see what a Muslim is and what is the purpose of me being a Muslim. But and when I dug so deep into it, religion is so man-made. It's just made to,
Mhm.
like you just said, it's like a certain, it's made to give people hope. Like, it's made to give you false hope. Like, God did not make religion. He didn't God It's so God did not create Christianity. He did not create Jehovah Witnesses. He did not create he did not make that. That is all honestly idolizing, if you want me to be honest. Like, that's why I didn't join the Muslims. Because it was idolizing. It was me choosing somebody else over him. It's like Buddhism or something. It was like me choosing a higher power over my higher power, saying that their rules are different than his.
Mhm.
Letting a man restructure your rules of life. How can a man restructure your rules of life? No. But they believe that so deep, heavily, Ashley, because if you probably looked it up, but I've done a lot of religion thing. Like, I've watched the whole history of our religion on YouTube. And it goes through to the Cincinnati, and you get to learning the actual people name, how like white people, how they was considered and all that. But it all goes back to Babylon, and it goes back to just that story of Gomorrah and Babylon. This is that world. Like, that's why they believe that. And I don't believe that it's coming to an end, like, but it is gonna come to an end due to global warming. But like, it's very, like, I mean, but if you read the Bible and if you truly believe in God, God tells you that, I'm gonna do some things that you wouldn't be able to bear witness. It's like, if you know that story
Mhm.
when it's like if you know that story in the Bible, when he healed the woman of blind eye, when the blind woman, when he gave the blind woman sight again, when Jesus gave the blind woman sight. Like, we are gonna witness something that we probably, like you just said, transformate, that we never witnessed before. Yes, we are.
Mhm.
I do believe we are. Like, if we are here, if we are here in the time, we are gonna witness something, because like I was telling you about the world, because I do believe the world is the devil. Like, nobody really truly wants good for you no more. Like, it's very hard to get good out the world. It's very hard to get good out of people. It's very hard to have people who got good intentions. You get what I mean? Like, the world is so evil nowadays that it's actually evil. It's a evil, disgusting place almost. Like, it really is. And you have to pick out the good few. And then the good few, and you really have to, out of millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people, Ashley, we can really pick out the ones. That's why he say on Judgment Day, like, it ain't gonna be hard for him to pick the ones. Like, it's not. I do believe in Judgment Day. I do believe in all of that. Like, because I believe in heaven and hell. That's why, another reason why I live my life a certain way. That's another reason why I stopped gang banging, or never kill nobody, or never. I'm from Chicago. I'm lived in Chicago. I'm part of the most ruthless gangs. My family is man, the biggest gang in Chicago. Like my life, like, I am, like, truthfully, I am supposed to be a statistic. Like, I'm supposed to be in jail for the rest of my life. That's what's written out for me already. Like, That's already clear cut. Like that. I went to juvenile. What they say? If you go to juvenile, then you go to jail as an adult, and then what you say, you're gonna end up in prison. Like that's what happened to me. But there can be a change, like I told you. That, like you say, that person has their own awakening when they decide to, and it could be at 50, it could be at 60, it could be at any age. It's up to that person when they decide that they wanna, when this lively moment happened to them. You get what I'm saying? Whatever lively moment that happens to them, that stirs that up. Like, thank God that for people like us, it happens for us early. That's what I mean. Like, for nowadays, it's happening early for people. More earlier. Like, our Nene them, they never got it. They still don't. Change is not like, I like to them, they don't want change. But I was just speaking to a customer that's my Nene age. I had to tell her, how don't you like change? Because I was changing some on her bill, but I had to break it, and I broke it down to her just like this. And then I got her to stand up. She said, I don't like changes. I said, how can you not like something that's inedible? I said, change. I said, ma'am, you've been on this world, and I told her in a simple. I said, ma'am, you've been on this world for 80 some years, right? She said, yeah. I said, how many times has the president changed?
Whew.
I said, how many times has the laws changed? How many times I told her, don't the day change? I say, how many times does the days change? I say, something changes every day, man. I say, it's inedible. I said, something is going to change every day. The thing is, you have to pay attention to the change. If you don't pay attention to it, your bill going to keep getting high. And she said, but that's how I broke it down to her, though. Like, change is literally inevitable. Like, ma'am, like, you have to do this. Like, if you don't do it, you're gonna be stuck in the old days. Like, it's just saying, like, the old people who decided that they didn't want to get computer smart, they were dumb. When y'all old people saw computers coming, y'all should have picked up a computer. That means what? Life is changing. But no, y'all all want to say, I don't want no new phone, no new touch screen, and nothing like that. I don't want none that I can touch or move around. I'm old school. Like, what? What is that? What is that? What is that? Like, what is that? That's actually a term of being dumb, if you ask me. I'm old. That means you're dumb. That means you refuse to keep learning. You old school, so you don't want to keep picking up. You old, so you that old that you don't know nothing about.
You was sick.
But it be old people that don't even be that old. You feel me? Like, it'll be a 50-year-old man talking about he old school, bro. You ain't no old school, bro. You still in the midst of life. Keep growing with your life, bro. You ain't old school, dude. A 50-year-old man don't learn how to use an iPhone. But that's just how we speaking. A lot of people are afraid of change still. But change is, I don't see how people are afraid of something that's been inedible to them. I'm only 31 now. Like, and I see this. Like, so I don't see like how a person like can live so long and be afraid of change. Like, it's gonna you change as a person every day. Like I don't say like, but some people don't change. Actually, some people don't. Let me not say that. Some people don't change. Some people don't grow. Some people stay in the same box that they man was in. Like, people think wisdom comes with age, and it doesn't. Wisdom doesn't come with age. The older you get, the smarter you don't get. That is not the truth. That was a lie. The older you get, the smarter you get. No.
That reminded me of a quote that I saw. It was either today or yesterday. And it was saying like that same thing but a little bit different. Like maturity doesn't come with age.
Age,
And I
adult.
think that's something a lot of people, I think too, the way that sometimes people think about it when they're like, oh, you're so, you're so mature for your age or whatever. But I feel like too, sometimes maturity does not even just always come with experience. It goes back to that saying that it is that we had, it's not on me, it's in me. Because there are some people, like even like on TikTok and social media, there are some people that I have seen that are younger than me, and they have a mindset of somebody 15 years older than them.
You say they got what?
I said there are some people that are younger than me, and they have the mindset of somebody that's 15 years older
15.
than them. And
Yeah.
it's like that's not something that
Okay.
you always gain through. That's not always something that it is that you gain through experience.
You gain that
Like,
by knowledge and reading it, and like we talked about, wanting to learn. You have to want to learn. Like that's what I'm saying. You can. That's the thing about this world. That's why we went back to I had that thing about creation, because after you choose not to go to college, you gotta understand, and I have to practice this more myself. But when you choose not to go to college and you choose your next path, you gotta. How do you learn? Where do you learn from? Where And a lot of people don't know that you keep learning by reading it. If you don't read, you don't learn no more. Like if you stop reading, and like a lot of us grown people did for 10, 15 years, we never pick up a book, we stop learning. That's why maturity doesn't come. That's why you will end up 50 years old and still think like you're 20 years old, because you never decided to keep learning. You stayed with that basic knowledge. You never decided to grow your mind. And that's all what it be. That's why it don't come with age, because it's a mind thing. Like you just said, a person could be 10 years younger than me and talking way more smarter than me, because it's his mind. He decided to go learn and get that knowledge that I don't have. It didn't come with his age. It came with what he wanted to do, what he was gifted with. So life is all about, like we say, it's all about choices and decisions, like we know of at the end of the day. Just the decisions that we make. You live with the decisions that you make. And you got one word that I don't believe in is stress, or like I could get. It's plenty of people I met that be like, I don't get mad. I don't get mad. And I try to really address that. And feel that, like, I don't get mad. I don't get mad. I don't get mad. And even when I get mad, I try to realize that, like, I'm mad. Like, damn, let me get unmad. Like, why am I mad? Like, I'm mad at, like, nothing. Like, let me get unmad, because me being mad right now is only affecting who? Me. So, like, why would I sit here and just be a mad person? So but that all comes with you learning how to control your own thoughts, though. But a lot of people don't know how to control their own thoughts. That's why we got depression, and that's why we got people who kill themselves, and that's why we got people who go through a lot of things, because a lot of people don't know how to control their thoughts. And a lot of people will learn how to control their thoughts if they read a lot more. And truly, I got that really from really being with my wife now, just listening to her when she does her audio books, and I just be right there listening, from the simple fact because it's playing, that is knowledge, and I'll gain some from just being around somebody else who's reading. And like I told you, like, we don't get nowhere unless we be around somebody that's doing something different than what you doing. It goes for the same things in a relationship or whatever we doing. Like, if no one's doing nothing better, then how do you expect anybody to grow? If nobody's pushing nobody to do anything, where does the growth come from? But like I told you, so many people be okay with. Well, I ain't gonna say that because a lot of people. I mean, it's so, I ain't gonna say easy, but it's so kind of easy nowadays to get rich overnight. But with that being said, it's kind of easy nowadays. A lot more easier to get rich overnight. But a lot of people still settle to struggle. If you understand what I'm saying, like, a lot of people still rather live to struggle, but it's so easy to get rich overnight. But a lot of people rather still live to struggle. And what I mean by living to struggle is living the struggle. All you doing, you wake up. This is like we talked about. You wake up and you go to work and you go home and you pay your bills and you do the same thing and you do it every day, and there's no happiness and there's no change and you do nothing great. That's really living to struggle. What did you do? Like, do something. Go on a trip. Do something with your life. Something, I don't know.
It's easy to get rich, but it takes knowledge to maintain it.
Yeah, and that's what I learned. The thing that right there, it takes knowledge to maintain being rich. Because I've had money so much, and if I've had money for so long, for so many years, and if I've had money consistently and like for so long and for so many years, like I haven't really, like, I don't know, like, I haven't, like, until like last year, pretty much 2023, probably like my roughest year. But I haven't really experienced what it feels like to struggle. Like, I don't really know what that felt like. I did a little bit last year, like, but before that, like, I ain't really know what it was like to struggle, because like I've always been a worker. Like, I'm a worker. I'm not a worker. I've always been somebody that's gonna provide. Like I told my woman, I refuse to be broke. I just refuse not to have. Like, I've always been that way. Like, that's one reason why I grew up the way I did, because they soft decisions. Like, when you asked me that question, what would I go back and tell my old self?
And I was just getting ready to ask you that too. Like, as a partner, as a business owner, a father, a son, given the knowledge that you have from the things you've experienced, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
It's a lot, but like I told you, I really like to go back to myself. I like to really go back to the freshman year of high school of me. That person. The person, I like to go right to that person, 8th grade me. When I graduated out of 8th grade, I like to speak to that Corey. And what I tell that Corey is, if it was me, and what I know now, the main thing that I'll tell that Corey is don't do drugs. Stay away from the drugs. You don't need weed, like that. Like my dad them told me, even like I thought weed is nothing, but like, you don't need it. It doesn't do nothing but takes away. So like, that's the main thing. One of the main things I tell myself is to stay away from drugs. And what I really would have told myself, I'd have played sports. So I'd have told myself to stay in sports, because if you pay attention to the real, like, that's where the real money that they are paying these 21, 19. You could get paid $400 million to shoot a basketball. They will give you $50 million a year to shoot a ball. So I would tell myself to stay in sports, but back then, or I would have told myself to also listen more. I didn't have support. Like, okay, just say if I even wanted to be on the football team, I didn't have the support of nobody to take me to the football game and I had a daddy. That's what I mean by these words of family. I had parents. I grew up in a home, a nice home. We wasn't broke. We wasn't starving. I'm a project baby, but I'm not a home. I'm not a, like, it's a difference. Like, okay, you can be from the projects and you can literally be one of them kids that don't have nothing like that. Mama don't have nothing. I'm not one of those type of kids. Like, we actually had stuff, but I just didn't have the support. So the main thing is just to keep pushing on my own. Like, I'd have probably caught the bus to the games or something. Like, I'd have told myself to put more into myself. Back then, when I was young, I ain't put more into myself. I ain't understand myself to put more into myself, but that's what I do. I tell myself to go after my dreams like I do now. Like, because I wanted to play football. I wanted to be an actor. I used to tell, like, little simple things like that. Those are my things that I told myself that I wanted to be when I was an actual kid. I want to be a famous actor. I want to be a professional footballer. Those are the things that I dreamed of being. But I didn't have the support, but I can't make that the reason why that I didn't go through with it, because those are my things. I could still, not as far as the football, but the acting thing I could still go through with now. It's just doing it. It's just doing it and making it work. But like I told you, once like, what happened was, like I told you, like, once you get in a comfortable position, like I told you, door to door, my bed, it made me comfortable. Like I told you, at first it killed my creative gene. Like, I didn't think about being creative no more because I made so much money. I didn't think about the thing is, I didn't think about ways to create more money when I was making money. And that's what I was supposed to have been doing. I'm making all of this money. How can I get creative and make even more money? But that ain't what it do. That ain't what comfortability do to you. That's what I'm saying. Comfortability doesn't make you creative. Comfortability takes the creativeness away from you. But if I was in an uncomfortable predicament, like I've been in my life before, I get real creative and I make something happen. Like I told you, if you're in a comfortable predicament, you're gonna make something happen. And it's the same thing if you ever listen. It's this black dude on Instagram, I don't know his name, but it's the same thing as they did them tests with. If you ever heard of them, the lab rat tests is when they put one rat in a good clean environment, and then they put the rest of the rats in a bad environment, and they sync. Can the rat do the rats react different in different environments? And they did. That's just to show you, like, your environment can shape everything of who you are. Like, okay, you can grow up in a home that your mama do drugs, your daddy do drugs, or they not there, or it ain't nobody there to feed you, or something like that, or the house is just always dirty, or like everything is just left up to you. Like, I grew up in a decent home to the point where it's okay, I had somebody to feed me. It was food in the refrigerator. I did have a house to go to. I wasn't being abused. I wasn't being talked to any kind of way. I wasn't being mistreated. I wasn't being abused or nothing like that. So I feel like that was a good home because like I did always have somewhere to go. Like I said, and then I always had somewhere to go that was warm. I always had somewhere to go that had food. That's why I said life is about decisions. Like I chose to live my life, but I was I mean, not forced. I was born into the streets. I chose to leave the streets. Now that was a decision that I had to make on my own, and that's me. A part of me being a leader. Like a lot of people not born into the streets. They choose the streets. Like I tell you, like I supposed to be a statistic off what I grew up off of, but based off my own mind and me, and truthfully, like we talked about, my spirituality and my faithfulness to God in certain ways, I couldn't. It made me make the decision of I'm not a gangbanger. That I don't kill people. I'm not gonna kill nobody for no reason. Like, what? I'm not finna go shoot nobody. What am I shooting them for? For what? And I was the person that was able to still, like, I was able to do that and not get ridiculed for it. Like, back in when we was coming up, like, that was hard to do. Like, that's what I mean by, like, this street stuff is hard. Like, some people got ridiculed, like, if you didn't go pick up a gun and you didn't start shooting. Like, you were ridiculed for that. Like, you was ridiculed. Like, they'll call you a goofy, or you can't hang around, or you not no killer. Like, you was ridiculed for that. But because of the people and who I am and who my daddy is and who I grew up around, I was blessed to, like, able to honestly step out those shoes and not get ridiculed for it and still get my respect because of what I done. But that was my biggest decision for me, was leaving the streets, because and a lot of these people right now, they consider themselves stuck to the streets and they want to be in the street. I left the street. Ain't nothing in the streets. I could sell drugs. I could live a drug life. I could live whatever life I want to live. I could be the biggest gangster in Chicago and let everybody know me if I wanted to, but what would that get me? Dead or in jail. So that's the biggest decision for me that I ever made out of my life, was leaving the streets after being so imprinted in it. Like I tell you, I was imprinted in it. Like my foot, like, it's like, like cement when it's wet. And like you put your shoe right there and it's right there forever. Your footprint after the cement draw, your footprint right there forever. That's how my life was to the streets. Like, it's there. Like, but what took that away is, honestly, door to door. That's what separated me. Well, I was already separated because I made the decision when I went to garage that, when I got out of jail, like I told you, I wasn't going back to the streets. But when I got to door, I got with people that I never met before. Meaning, I got with people like that was like me a little bit. And like, as far as I got to seeing people that I wanted to be, not idolize, but like, dang, like, I want to be like him a little bit. Like, dang, like, that's how I see myself look. Like, they had the suit and the ties, and there was people making $5,000, and they standing up there and they controlling everything, and everybody hoorah and they laugh. Like, I looked at that like, that is me. But if I would have never entered that room, like you say, like you just said, if you would never enter that room in college and met them people, I would never be where I'm at. That's how, like, it's funny how life works. Life is full of a bunch of journeys. Each life, we live a bunch of lives within one life, if you understand that. You live a bunch of lives in one life. You're gonna live this life for this long, and then when this life, and then this life, and then when we get 50, it's life. That's the part when I talk about change. A different life. That means we changing, right? So each time it's gonna be a different change because it's gonna change for us. No matter how much I don't want it to change. Like, just say for instance, the pandemic. Before the pandemic, nobody expected what? Change. Nobody could believe change. Nobody even could believe that they could make us stay in the house. That was unfathomable. That they can say, hey guys, don't go to work. Everybody stay home. Why? Because you got to. What? I can't go outside. Who said that? The government. The government said you can't go outside. Huh? For how long? Until they say we can. What? Who made that up? You see what I'm saying? That's what showed me they can do whatever they want to do. So you just have to be prepared. And that is a way of preparing me. Like, that prepared me for change too, because I wasn't prepared for that. Like, I thought I'd be able to do what I do forever.
Going back to your book, if you had three pieces of advice to give somebody that wants to know how to get motivated, what are three pieces of advice that it is that you'd give them?
The first one is self-discipline. To motivate yourself, you got to be self-disciplined. It starts right there. Getting up every day, like we had talked about. This is a step-by-step process, hour by hour. So you have to be self-disciplined within the mind. You got to understand, you got to stay grounded and understand whatever you want and whatever you're going for. It all starts with self-discipline. The second thing I would say is knowing your why. Know why you're doing it, and your why should make you cry. The reason why we do things, we got to put more effort into it, and sometimes you just got to reevaluate your why, figure out why you're doing it, and know why. And last but not least, the sense of time, understanding the sense of time, because you got to understand that everybody has that time, and your time will come eventually if you put in the effort for your time to come, versus you looking at somebody else when they having their time and doubting yourself, or suggesting or having bad thoughts. Understand that when you have good energy towards somebody else's time, good energy will flow around your time. Everything flows around energy and around your mind. So just understand that you got to have a sense of time, self-discipline, and know your why.
I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, sharing all of your experiences and your insight, and it was amazing having you.
I just want to thank you, Auntie, so much. It was amazing being on here. It was so uplifting. It actually opened my mind, opened my thoughts, got me flowing. Thanks for having me. Thank you for considering me, and I loved every moment of it.